This video is sponsored by CuriosityStream. Get access to my streaming video service Nebula when you sign up for CuriosityStream using the link in the video description. One content creation tip that you hear regurgitated time and time and time again is to focus on quality, not quantity, whenever telling people how to start their YouTube channel or podcast or stream or whatever really. And I'm here to tell you why that's wrong and why you should focus on quality actually, at least in a lot of cases. I'm EposVox, the stream professor, and I have been educating streamers on my YouTube channel for 7+ years now. However, I've primarily stuck to the tech side, OBS setup, things like that. One of those kind of stay in my lane kind of things, and people always don't want to hear the advice that goes against the grain. But in my experiences with TikTok over here on this little device, which you should go follow me if you haven't already, kind of discovered that my voice when it comes to more meta topics for streaming and content creation is something people might need to hear because there's a lot of bad advice out there. So today we're talking quality versus quantity. And if you're not sure what that means, quantity is the amount that you make. So if you focus on the quantity of videos that you make, that means you would just make a lot of videos. If you focus on the quality of the videos, usually that means that you make less videos, but you make them, the best that you possibly can. And on the surface, the idea of focusing on making higher quality videos versus making a lot of videos seems like a good idea, but what that does is that encourages people to get stuck in the mindset of chasing perfectionism, of not doing it until you do it right. And for a lot of people who are struggling to get started or to put themselves out there, this is the worst possible advice. The thing is, when you're starting a YouTube channel or a stream or any content creation really, it takes a very long time for you to actually gain momentum in terms of follower growth, in terms of, making any progress. It takes hundreds of videos to really get a YouTube channel nailed down, not only in terms of audience, but also to figure out what the heck you're doing. Because when you first start, you are clueless. Some of us start really young into our lives when YouTube was very new, and it takes years to get to that point, but that's not what we're talking about here today. The point is, it takes a very long time and doing something over and over and over to get good at it. There is the quote about it takes 10,000 hours to master any given skill. If you're focusing on making what you consider in your completely brand new to this field mind best video you can before you put it out there and deal with an audience or anything like that, you're not getting those 10,000 hours. You're getting far less. You need to be making videos. You need to be trying new things. You need to be learning new skills and putting more and more out there to see what sticks. One of the very few pieces of advice that I actually appreciate from Mr. Beast, because honestly, I consider most of his YouTube advice to be not very helpful for most people. But one of the things he mentions is that every video he uploads, he makes sure that he finds one thing from that previous video, or at least when he was starting out, he found one thing from the previous video to improve upon and just did that. It, took a video, found one thing to fix, improved it, found the next thing to fix, improved it. And that is a very solid way to start going, to figure out what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right to, really actually inform your process and to make better videos and get them out there. All this talk about the best way to grow on YouTube can be stressful. That's why I partnered with some of my creator friends to build our own platform where we don't have to worry about that stuff. My videos are higher quality there, ad-free, and often get extended from the YouTube versions. The site is called Nebula, and we've partnered with CuriosityStream. It features YouTube's top education creators such as Legal Eagle, Thomas Frank, and Low Spec Gamer. CuriosityStream saw what we were doing for educational content and wanted to partner up. We've worked out a deal where if you sign up with the link below, not only do you get access to CuriosityStream and their library of thousands of educational and documentary content, but you get access to Nebula for free for the entire duration of your subscription to CuriosityStream. For a limited time, CuriosityStream is offering 26% off their annual plan, making it less than $15 per year for both CS and Nebula. While you're there, check out the dark web, fighting cybercrime, to learn more about how smart tech can actually put you at risk and how to react to it. Head on over to curiositystream.com/epos for the best deal in streaming and to get access to both sites for under $15 per year. That's just crazy. Just do it. There's this tendency among established content creators whenever they're giving advice to newbies or fledgling content creators to focus on the principles that they want to instill in those creators rather than the actual tangible advice that those newbies are probably there for. And that creates a lot of kind of cognitive dissonance and a lot of confusion between what that creator actually did to succeed and what they're telling new creators to do. And it's kind of one of those do as I say, not as I do kind of situations where I stumbled, through my first couple years of content creating, so I'm going to tell you how to avoid that. But realistically, that doesn't help them, because that's telling them to skip the steps of self-discovery and stumbling through it themselves that most content creators need to be able to stumble through. And that's where things get really unfortunate with this kind of advice. If you go out there making the best videos you possibly can, one video every month or so, putting hours upon hours into it, making these really awesome videos, you're gonna burn out really quickly, because you're gonna put all this time and effort into it, and you might be proud of the videos you make, but then no one's gonna watch them, because no one knows who you are when you're just starting out. No one has a reason to come watch you. That's not how YouTube works. They're not just gonna show up. If you build it, they will come. It's not how YouTube works. You have to kind of fight for it a little bit. And that's how burnout happens, both with streamers and YouTubers, is putting all of your effort into this basket without actually attracting an audience first, and then get really bummed when that audience doesn't arrive. Not only that, but any YouTuber or streamer or whoever who has been doing this a while will go back from the day they started their content creation to a year later, looking back at what they made on that first day, and absolutely cringe at it. Because unless you're already a trained professional in hosting, presenting, entertaining, video editing, camera work, all of these things, you're not going to know what you're doing at first. And so you kind of have to figure that out through doing, not through pretending you're doing and just putting it all into one video. Like, you have to figure out these skills through action and through doing the thing that you set out to do. And there's literally no way to accomplish that without posting videos or doing streams or whatever. Streamers have a little bit of a different situation with this, in that, ironically, the advice is not to stream more necessarily. Now, I will say it depends on what your timeline is for streaming in the first place. And this is where streaming quantity advice kind of gets a little awkward, because if your plan is to just wake up and stream 8 hours a day every day for weeks on end, and then hope that viewers show up one day while you're just playing video games, unfortunately at this point, streaming doesn't really work that way. You do still need to be improving your content creation skills though. So instead of focusing on streaming so much, you need to be spending some of your time streaming and the rest of your time experimenting with other content, because that will actually inform your streaming process. The better you get at hosting videos where you can talk to just a camera, nobody, the better you are going to be hosting streams when chat's dead or you haven't had any viewers yet or whatever. Those skills all interconnect. So instead of quality or quantity of streams, you need to focus on quantity of content that you're making in general. Learn how to use social media, create an engaging ongoing live post, learn how to edit photos so you can do cool thumbnails and channel art, learn how to make videos so you can get it keyed in on that process, do streams so you can master your streaming software as well. At the end of the day, every content creator's journey is unique. There are more and more situations these days where a content creator blows up in a very short amount of time that makes, longtime creators like myself who stumbled through so many of these things kind of feel bad about ourselves, because we spent years figuring out what we were doing in the first place, whereas a lot of people can just kind of show up if they already know how to do all of this and do this well, or that high quality of a storyteller or entertainer, and kind of speed right past us. But those are more often exceptions to the rule than the rule itself, because most of us don't start out already being a pro entertainer or video producer or anything like that. I sure as hell didn't. So this first video is kind of part of a mini series that I'm putting together here, talking about basically bad YouTube advice that large YouTubers or established content creators give. This applies both to streaming and YouTubing. I've been sharing some of these bad pieces of advice over on TikTok. Go follow me there. I'm EposVox there, of course, if you want more kind of super quick format videos. But I do think these discussions are worth having, because this isn't a knock against any individual YouTuber that gives these pieces of advice necessarily. And I've certainly have done my fair share of sharing these kind of trite, not super helpful pieces of advice, because they contain kind of more core lessons that you need to learn about the process. But I was always the person who showed up to advice places, to supposed experts, hoping to find a tangible thing that I can act upon in order to make myself better. And it was always these bull crap, vague, principle-based things like make good content, make good titles and thumbnails, Make content that people want to see. Be genuine. These aren't helpful things. What person shows up to a stream career or YouTube career possibility and thinks that you're going to make it by making boring videos or unappealing titles or thumbnails? Yes, there are some people who just never thought that titles and thumbnails were very important, but honestly, you just need to spend 5 seconds considering what you click on yourself, and that's kind of obvious in your face. None of these things are things you can act upon. I mean, you can spend more time on your thumbnails, but until you know what a good thumbnail is and what a bad thumbnail is, and until you've made videos that have enough traction where you can be like, all right, this type of thumbnail doesn't work anymore. This type of thumbnail is doing really, really well. Until you have that experience, those tips mean nothing to you. And so this is just a kind of short mini series akin to the YouTube Hard Truths podcast I ran on another channel a couple years back. I'll have it linked below. To just provide a little bit more tangible, real world advice from someone who's done this for a very long time and who kind of works with people like this. I have been around on YouTube since 2006. I've been on and off of streaming since the Justin TV days. I have worked for an MCN for 4 years where I coached YouTubers and helped them build their channels and things like that. Became kind of one of the experts for the network or whatever. Was YouTube certified and Hootsuite certified. I have my degree in journalism, specifically focused on web media and things like that. Like, this is what I'm here for, even though I focus on the tech so much. So your all's support and responses to me focusing on less of the tech stuff on TikTok has kind of helped me think that 2021 is the year of Epos also giving advice. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This is just kind of an introductory video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more tech education and stream guides. I'm EposVox, the stream professor. I will see you next time.